Yeah, you already know what it is, and like I always start this off with, ain't nothing new under the sun. So as you all know, or for those of you that have been keeping up with the content, for the longest I've been saying that liberal or democratic institutions such as LULAC or the NAACP, the Democratic Party as a whole for that matter, the Rainbow Coalition, you name it, somewhere down the line, I'm pretty sure we can find connections and actions that point to all of these organizations literally being a part of a slow burn but a long-term psyop. So I put together just a couple of clips just to give you a short intro into what I'm saying, because when historians get together and they all agree on all the historical facts that happen and they put them in our textbooks, there's a lot of things that are left out of that story, and that allows them to shape and manipulate the narrative to suit their needs, and they use to manipulate all of us. So if you remember, when the conversation of reparations kept coming up, or even the police brutality bill, one of the big things we always heard from Obama, Kamala, and Biden, all of them was what? We can't do anything for a specific group. Now, I'm going to start this row of clips off, or this series of clips off rather, with Kamala Harris. And I want you to pay attention to what she said, because she specifically said that no, she's not going to do any type of legislation specifically just for Black people, because if she does that, it'll benefit the Black community and then America as a whole. Really pay attention to what she's saying. But then after that, there'll be a series of follow-up clips, and then we'll spin the block and we're going to have this conversation.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
Many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
We talked about how the Democrats opened the borders in 1965, but the real betrayal happened in 1994, because that's the year a Black woman tried to warn them, and they silenced her. Her name was Barbara Jordan, a civil rights icon and the first Southern Black woman elected to the House of Representatives. She wasn't a Republican. She was a Democrat royalty. President Bill Clinton appointed her to lead the U.S. Commission on Immigration Reform. Her job was to look at the data and answer one question: is immigration good for the average American worker? The Democrats expected her to say yes. But Barbara was honest. She looked at the numbers and she saw the truth. She released a report that shocked Washington. She concluded that low-skilled immigration was directly hurting the most vulnerable Americans, specifically Black men without college degrees. She said, immigration policy must put the interests of the American worker first. She recommended cutting legal immigration by 1/3 and cracking down on illegal labor to protect Black wages. So, what did the Democrats do? Did they listen to this Black woman that they appointed? No. Barbara Jordan died in 1996. And the moment she was gone, Bill Clinton buried her report. Instead of cutting immigration, they expanded it. They chose cheap labor over Black livelihood. She gave them the blueprint to save the Black middle class, and they threw it in the trash. We
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. I know Negroes aren't given their full share of democracy, but frankly, I'm prejudiced against Negroes, and I do not believe that they are entitled to everything that we get. And we taught our kids the same thing. That's why they can play with you. I can't bring you home. We are a white race, and we should not be treated like colored people. I argue that Mexicans were legally white and should not be subjugated to the same Jim Crow treatment as blacks. Latin Americans of Mexican descent belong to the Caucasian race and are therefore white, which is true.
Tech is advancing too quickly for legislation to keep up, meaning ICE can now track your personal phone legally.
The NAACP president, Derek Johnson, who is joining us now and on your way, as I understand it, to Minneapolis. What are your plans and what will be your message as you get here?
Well, we're launching a campaign to defund ICE.
Last thing Dr. King ever said to me, 5 days, as a matter of fact, before he was murdered, he said, well, I am, because I've come upon a thought that I don't know how to deal with at this moment. I said, well, what is it? He said, we fought long for integration. It looks like we're going to get it. I think we get the laws. He says, but I'm afraid that I've come upon something I don't know quite what to do with. I'm afraid that we're integrating into a burning house. And when we asked for further clarification, Andy Young was with me at that time, my wife, others. He said, America's lost whatever little moral vision it had. Its moral sense has run away from the nation. And a nation that is not governed by morality and moral principles is a nation that's headed for an abyss. And I think black people who have been struggling to get into this system may be getting into a system that in the final analysis is a Sodom and Gomorrah.
Jackson said, he told me, Jesse, take our people onto the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him. And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy came back, says, no need of prayer, no need of cry, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over with. He's gone to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling, everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on, telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment.
Talking down to black people on those faith-based what been talking down to black people on those faith-based what
listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson.
No more money for you. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Go back across. No more money for you. No more money for you. It's lazy, you lazy. You lazy. No more money for you.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech.
Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, if we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? For 4 million, I'll be all the motherfucking monkey you can stand.
Yeah. And there it is. So I don't know. I provide, but you decide. It is what it is. And as you can see, when you forget where you've been, that means you don't truly know where you at. And if you don't know where you at, there's no way in hell that you can see where you're going. Someone close to me said the other day said that, we'll never be able to get anything accomplished because they won't ever let your black politician or whatever do anything for black people, right? Well, if we actually felt like that as individuals and a collective, if you actually felt that these politicians can't do anything for you because they're being handicapped by demand, then why do you continue to vote for these people that you already say and feel cannot help you? And just going by the historical records and the things I've already been able to show you, the connections between the NAACP, Margaret Sanger, and W.E.B. Du Bois, we know what Margaret Sanger said that her whole goal was. And this is the thing. None of these things are actually hidden. You can go to the library, congress.gov, basically any .gov that has historical records, and you can search to your heart's content and go through all the receipts because they're all there. It's just that sometimes people don't want to believe what's right in front of their face, because then we have to admit quite a few things. And one of them is that we've all been lied to. We're all being manipulated and used so that we fight one another. And I don't like you because of this, or you did this, and the son will pay for the sins of the father. And listen, I get it. We all get caught up in it. I know I have. But pay attention. We went from the diaspora wars, right? And everybody put their feelings out on how they felt in our house. All right, whatever, cool. And then as that died down, then it became dry ice. So first, it was the Hispanics jumping out the window. We'll say whatever we want to say to you. But what are you going to do about it? I can call you a nigger because I'm a bigger minority than you are. I'm Cuban. We remember all the clips. Then it was the whole Haitian lady, dirty black Americans. Now look what's happening. Now the LGBTQ community is mad because Ryan Coogler didn't have somebody in his series popping and locking or wogan and voguing or whatever it's called. But it's almost like anything they can to stop forward progress and focusing on people as individuals, but then the overall collective just bettering themselves and not giving up and acting like a victim or you need someone to come save you. Because once I realized that I was reacting to my reality from a victim mindset, I had to tweak and just make a few changes and realize that we hold all the power in any system, because without the participants of the system, there is no system. And when the system is not serving you the way that it's supposed to, that means you have to do some restructuring. Sometimes you have to destroy and rebuild. But it has to be done, and running away from it and acting like what's in your face is not in your face is not going to change anything. And we're doing the same things over and over and over and over and expecting different results. And that is the definition of insanity. As individuals, we do it. As a collective, we do it. And then we sit back and we want to look at somebody or pick somebody to blame. And I always hear people say, well, we can't do that because they won't let us. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is they? And I get the sentiment of they, the system, but how many of these individuals have actually pulled up to your doorstep and told you to stop or you can't do that? But the minute you tell yourself that you can't do something, it's over before you've even started. And this is why I've been taking the hardline approach to everything in my life that does not suit me or those around me, because I watch too many people suffer from the systems that they claim are there to protect us, like the Taft-Hartley Act that allows nonprofit unions that act as extensions of political parties and are actually paid off of your created off of your tax dollars. And then they charge you dues on top of that when they don't provide service. Or just like NYU, but what I showed you yesterday, where they're now telling the staff that if you post something online on your personal social media and a third party finds it offensive, that's a problem. Now there's an attack on free speech from the employers, but they don't protect their employees from their management violating their own policies and procedures, their own rules and regulations, as well as state and federal laws. And I have damn near 3,000 hours of audio and audio visual to prove it, as y'all have seen bits and pieces and receipts of it already. So at what point do we stop aligning ourselves with things that were created to hold us back and destroy us or keep us in check, and realize that it's time to do something different? And we don't need anybody to lead or do anything for us, because we are the machine itself. If you don't pay taxes, the government doesn't run. If you don't go to work, that corporation fails. But they treat you as if you need them. And if you pay attention, that's why old Mama Kamala and old Papa Sleepy Joe left that border open, because they tell you all the time, who's going to make your sandwich? This is what they say. Who's going to make your sandwiches or coffee in the morning? And who's going to clean your toilets? This is how the liberals are now talking about the people that they just let in here illegally. That sounds like a neo or new age slave class, if you ask me, on some neo-colonialism shit. But nobody sees that, because the people who were saying these things look just like us. But they all playing in our faces. So what makes them any different? It actually makes them fucking worse. Because they're using identity and intergenerational trauma to manipulate us, acting as if they're doing us a favor when they working for they who won't let us. But yeah, like I say, it is what it is. I'm gonna get up out of here. But y'all know what it is, right? Realize, and transparency forces accountability. So y'all keep your eyes to the stars, keep that head on a swivel, and remember, we are in the den of diabolical demons, aka the Viper's Pit. And until we start making a few changes, moving a little bit different, and looking out for the interests of ourselves and our fellow countrymen, what we just witnessed and what we've been witnessing and experiencing since the Democrats used us during the Indian Rights Act. If you look up the Indian Rights Act, that's what they renamed the Civil Rights Act. But since that day, they've been using us to push their agenda. And just like Steve Harvey told you, stop asking about what you can get out the deal now. Worry about it next time. Malcolm X warned us about that, and we still ain't listening. That's damn near 70 fucking years ago. You don't believe in being under a spell? Or that everybody says they believe in witchcraft. Well, then understand when witchcraft is being used on you. And you can't even see it. But yeah, I'm gonna slide up out of here. I don't want to get too juju preachy and shit. Yo, y'all be safe out there, man. And you can have whatever you want. You just have to be willing to make the sacrifices and do what it takes to get it. And all it takes, a little bit of discipline and a little bit of know-how. And, you know, when we say about what happened with our elders, that we were sold out, we could use the excuse that they didn't know. Fair enough. But we have no excuse, because they used to have to go to libraries, use index cards in the Dewey Decimal System. We have Google queries that you type in a couple of keywords and it literally sends you every periodical that you need to peruse, and even tell you what chapter to go find the answer. But that's too hard, because they won't let us.